The memory of the pain that her late brother went through is still fresh in Beatrice Chepkemoy's mind. She still shudders at the thought.
Baadaye akapatikana kama amewawa, sehemu za mwili yake zingine zimetolewa. Na ilikuwa pain sana. Ni uchungu sana kwa sababu, yani nikiimagine hivi, alikufa kifo mbaya sana.
Albert Chesang, a 52-year-old farmer from Iten, Elgeyo Marakwet County, had been feeling unwell for a long time. He was admitted at Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital when he complained of throat pains. And a week later, the hospital called the family to notify them that Chesang had disappeared from the hospital. His body would be found outside the hospital's compound, mutilated, without both hands and both legs.
Just a week before Chepkemoy received news of her brother Albert Chesang's disappearance, they had admitted him at Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, Eldoret. Chesang had throat pains for some time and could barely eat, surviving only on milk and porridge.
Wakachukua sample yake, wakampeleka mahali sijui inaitwa Chandaria, na iko imetoka hiyo results. Hadi wale bado hiyo results yake haijatoka. Wakati tulimpeleka huko wakasema hawezi wakamtibu kwa sababu hawajui ni shida gani. Sasa alikuwa anapewa tu painkillers na kuwekewa maji.
The search was long and arduous. The family printed Chesang's photos and distributed them, made Facebook posts besides viewing unidentified bodies as far as in Eldama Ravine.
Tulienda mahali yote kabisa kutumia pesa kukimbia mahali yote. Mtu akisema tumeona, lakini tukupata.
After 1 week of the painful search with little success, they made a phone call for the umpteenth time to request access to CCTV footage, hoping for a breakthrough. Unlike many times before, the hospital security management obliged.
Kufika huko ofisi yake, akaongea, akasema sijui mtu aliendaje nini. Atu CCTV alionyesha sisi alienda njia ya karibu moja hapo. Akakuja kuonyesha sisi mlango yote alipita mpaka tukapita karibu moja hapo chini. Na yeye anatangulia mbele.
Once the search party led by the hospital security manager crossed the hospital fence, Chepkwony recalls the security manager stopping to use his phone as they proceeded. A few meters ahead, they would discover the body of their kin.
Huyu mtu akaritirita karuti nyuma na akachifanya anaangalia simu yake. Sasa wakati alijifanya anaangalia simu yake, si tukasonga mbele. Charles akawa nyuma yetu. Alafu sisi na Mark tukaenda mbele. Kupika mbele akasema huyu Mark akaniuliza, si kuna kitu nyeusi hapa mbele ambaye ni somehow 40 or 50 meters away from the boundary. Sasa tukaangalia hivi tukasema ni mtu ama ni nini? Tukaenda tukaribia huko sasa tukaona ni mtu na hakuna mguu wala ana mkono. Hawa sasa wakakuja nyuma yetu. Tukaangalia kweli ni yeye. Hapo sasa huyu jamaa akasema waje nitane mtu ya mojari. Tukaambia hapana. Na watu wa scene of crime ndio wanataka wajue ndio ijulikane ya kwamba amepatikana.
According to the family, the body appeared to be too well preserved for someone who had been missing for over a week.
Hata hii mangua iko kando, hakuna tamu. Na hii mwili tukaona ni kama kuna mahali ilikuwa amefichia kwa vile. Hakuna inchi hata moja. Kama angekuwa mtu ameosa hapo, si angekuwa hata mainchi anakuwa mingi. Tukuona tu hapo ni kama kitu aliletwe tu siku hiyo.
Mahali tulipata huyu mtu, tulipata yeye akiwa chini. Akiwa chini amefutwa mita moja. Kuna hapo hakuna commotions, lakini amefutwa futu moja ambaye imetoa nyasi kwa mahali chini. Hapo sasa inaonekana imefutwa kidogo hivi. From there, kuanzia hapo sasa tunaenda mbele kidogo. Kuna some fresh stones of blood. fresh, na hali ana inzi, hakuna inzi yenye natembea hapo. Tukiangalia huyu mtu ni kama mtu ametolewa mochari, na ilikuwa ni the same night.
The family proceeded to bury Chesang, but 2 months since his death, there has been no news of what led to his demise. How did a sickly person who could barely walk get out of hospital, evading all the security officers, only to be found dead 1 week later?
Ni nini ilimpeleka Albert kutoka hospitalini mpaka kule alikufia? Hiyo ndio tunataka kujua kama familia. Kwa sababu huyu mtu alikuwa kwa mikono ya hospitali, halafu ikakuaje anapatikana amekufa, amekatwa. Hiyo ndio tunataka kujua kama familia.
Chesang's family is not the only one mourning the unexplained death of their kin in hospital. There are several other incidences of suspicious deaths inside hospitals in Kenya. These incidences have exposed the extent of the lapse in hospital security across the country. With each passing year, a rising number of insecurity incidents have been reported in private and public hospitals across Kenya, ranging from minor security breaches to serious fatal events. National referral facilities such as Kenyatta National Hospital and the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital have encountered the worst cases owing to their size and the large population of patients seeking medical services at the facilities. But insecurity in hospitals is not new. In July 1965, Rebecca Kimeu and her husband Kimundi walked into Nairobi's Pumwani Maternity Hospital, where Rebecca delivered a healthy baby. Sadly, after delivery, the couple was told that the baby had died, but upon asking to view its body, they were told it was missing. This incident would go down as the first ever publicly documented case of baby theft at Pumwani Maternity Hospitals, a recurring scandal in which parents lose their children and others get swabbed in secret, with more than a dozen cases of baby theft documented in the hospital over the years. Mama Lucy Kibaki Hospital has also been embroiled in similar cases of child trafficking and infant theft, with social workers at the facility nabbed in 2023 while stealing newborn babies and selling to clients for a sum of between 100,000 and 300,000 Kenya shillings. And in what would be the biggest rout in Kenya's medical history, 75 patients escaped from a male ward at Mathare Mental Hospital in 2013. Of the 75 escapees, 7 were returned by their relatives. 2 came back on their own, but the rest were never found. Also never found was a group of 10 bandits armed with AK-47 rifles who raided Iten County Referral Hospital to rescue their fellow bandit. A similar incident had occurred in August 2018, whereby an inmate at Kamiti Maximum Security Prison, William Wiruri Meta, escaped mysteriously from Kenyatta National Hospital despite being under police watch in chains and handcuffs. The most unsettling security breaches are where lives are lost in what should be a safe space for healing and recuperation. One such harrowing death was in 2015 of Cosmas Mutunga, a 42-year-old father of 4 and cancer patient who was stabbed 42 times and bludgeoned to death by a man and a woman while admitted in Kenyatta National Hospital, Ward 8C, for chemotherapy. The only witness, a 12-year-old boy, later disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Despite increased security measures, hospitals still remain a target of criminals out to steal equipment, supplies, and in some instances, bodies from morgues. In all, referral hospitals seem to have borne the biggest brunt of insecurity. This year alone, 6 insecurity incidences have been reported in hospitals across Kenya, including 3 deaths. They started in January with the death of Albert Chesang, a cancer patient who had been admitted to the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital but disappeared from the ward he was admitted in, only for his body to be later discovered in a bushy area near River Sosiani. The most harrowing recent death yet was that of Gilbert Kinyua, a 39-year-old patient admitted at Kenyatta National Hospital for treatment of a neurological disorder, who was found dead in his bed inside Ward 7B after his throat was slit. Police are yet to establish the perpetrator of the crime. Iten County Referral Hospital, the biggest hospital in Elgeyo Marakwet County, was 2 years ago a scene of crime when armed bandits gained access to the hospital to rescue one of their own. Mark Kipsang, a clinical officer, arrived at the hospital the morning after the incident.
Okay, the story I had is that There was 2 or 3 gentlemen who came. They pretended as people who are coming to visit one of the sick persons here. And when they gained entrance, they now showed off on what they had. They were armed, actually, guns. I don't know, was it the G3 or AK-47? And the moment they wanted to take to rescue one of their own, I heard that the nurse was very busy on the other hand. But upon showing off the gun and alerting the other patients, I heard that the patients, even the sick patients, also feared for their life. You can imagine you are sick, you are on fluids, but you have to take guard below the bed. That is the situation. Most patients took guard actually below the beds.
Lawrence Kogos, the medical superintendent at the referral hospital, said that they have since improved the security measures, making it safer for both workers and patients.
So the measures that we have taken are diverse. We have infrastructural measures where we have a fully functional CCTV system, or complete with a control room, where we're able to monitor all sections of the hospital and are able to identify any security threats, any security gaps before they happen. We also have the personnel. We have a contracted security company who have been given proper instructions on how to do their patrols, how to control patient flow, how to control flow of people from outside. And they get frequent training from their company and proper supervision. We also have, we've improved on our fencing. If you go to the mother and baby down there, we have a fence made of iron sheets and generally fencing around the hospital. This has also prevented, apart from people from coming inside, it has helped us control patients living through areas that are not the designated areas of living, which was a big problem in the past.
But according to Benson Biwott, a nurse at the Iten County Referral Hospital and Elgeyo Marakwet branch secretary for the Kenya National Union of Nurses, more needs to be done.
They should employ more nurses and more healthcare workers. 2, they should also be able to provide other security teams, like we should be engage also civilian police officers to be around and within, and update the CCTV cameras. They should have people who man the CCTV cameras 24/7.
Nelius Njuguna, a lawyer and program advisor at the Kenya Human Rights Commission, who was advocating for justice for the late Kinywa's family, said the patients have a right to be protected by the hospitals when they are in the facilities.
The responsibility to ensure the safety of Gilbert Kinywa was on the hospital. This is because the patient was admitted under the care of Kenyatta National Hospital, and therefore they owed Gilbert the duty of care. They owed him a duty to protect him and to prevent any incidents like this, because once you are admitted, your presumption is that you are under the care of the hospital. There's no one time you'll be thinking that there are outside sources or someone who will come to harm you when you are under someone's care. Your presumption is that they have put in measures to protect you and to ensure the security and safety of all persons within the facility.
In order for hospitals to do this, Dr. Kennedy Olwoch, a strategic security expert, said that there is need for them to take the security function seriously, something he believes does not happen now.
I'm sorry to say now the strategy is that looking across the nature of operations of most organizations, we are still clinging to the second industrial revolution kind of management structure. So the role of security need to be elevated from down their organizational structure. Security should be a function of the executive. And anybody who is managing security should actually belong to the C-suite as far as I'm concerned. With the elevation of security function to the right place, that one now gives the head of security the capability to decide the overall security architecture of the institution. And that one includes technology, that one includes personnel. A security is something to be designed, just like the way you're designing a house. So it takes somebody with the right capability, with the right authority to do that.
Major retired Peter Kala, another security expert, described the minimum standards that a hospital should have for security.
We are protecting three things in the hospital. We are protecting people, they are the workers and the patients. We are protecting property and also protecting information. Therefore, a basic standard measure within the hospital should be able to protect those three areas. So I'll start with the basic, and this is majorly the physical security part, where now we must have, of course, now a guarding force which is in place for the physical checks and all that. And then secondly is what I will call an integrated security system. So here we have integrated electronic system. Here we have an integrated access control in terms of people, vehicles, and who is getting who.
A good access control system, according to Major retired Kala, should have 3 layers for it to be seamless and efficient.
At the access control, we must have layers. We must have the outer layer. Okay, these are just the basics now. We must have the outer layer, the middle layer, and now the inner layer. I'll start with the outer area. So we are talking about the perimeter wall in this case. So the hospital should have a proper perimeter wall with the proper standard heights, preferably 2.4 meters and above. And then above it, you need to have an electric fence which is functional. That's now the outer security. Now the middle layer is where we have now the access control itself. Here we have the physical guard. We also have the walk-in and walk-out metal detectors. We have contraband checks at this specific point. And now this is the middle area. We should be there, to counter what was not countered at the outer layer. So here we are doing the actual access control now. Who is going where, to do what? What are the restricted areas, which are the unrestricted areas? So then from there now, the inner layer now, if you are supposed to go to the X-ray department, for example, you should not go to the maternity wing, all right? If you're supposed to go to the wards, you should just go to the ward and not to another place. So this inner layer now creates the last form of barrier to ensure people go to the areas they are allowed. And these are what we call the restricted areas. But you'll find that now, fine, we try something the middle layer with access control, but now at the last layer, people are able then to access another area within the hospital, and this is where the problem begins.
Additionally, Major retired Kala said that the security measures, including the physical infrastructure of the hospital, should be enough to discourage an intruder.
So hospital should exhibit the 4 Ds of security, the first D being deter. So, but the policy itself should speak for itself in terms of deterrence. By looking at it, any potential advancer should say, no, I'm not going there. Then number 2 is detection. We should be able now to detect this adversary as he moves across the layers. So we must have detection measures in place. We have things like sensors, whether the exterior or interior sensors, and they should be able to trigger some form of alarm once this detection is done and some level of response. And then now from detection we go to delay. The advisor should not just walk all the way to his target. So we must have delay measures. This was what we're talking about, the access control measures within the various layers of security. And then the last one is deny. This is the overall objective. We don't want the adversary to get there to conduct the attack. So all these deter, detect, delay measures are made to deny the adversary from reaching his objective.
The challenge to provide proper security in hospitals also lies in the inability of hospitals to budget for the security function, but also in the security personnel's poor skills. Major retired Kala finds that hospitals would want to retain a security company that bids the lowest in the tendering process and therefore compromise on quality.
Because if security company does not have trained guards, they don't have an alarm response for themselves. They don't have a backup system. They don't have a proper integrated security system in place that can guarantee safety and security for personnel within an hospital, then that's not a security firm that should be awarded to Garden Hospital.
Dr. Olwoj believes that the issue of the lack of capacity is widespread within the security sector in Kenya and emanates from the lack of proper training for guards and security officers.
For example, when it comes to training of guards, I mean security guards, people who are at the lowest level. And you find that 3 important government agencies cannot sit down to agree on a curriculum for training guards. One agency insists on its own curriculum, another one insists on its own curriculum, another one on its own curriculum, and they are so much unready to an extent of even exchanging very unfriendly communications over the media, instead of sitting down on a very simple issue. If we can't address guards training, when will we address managerial training? When will we address technical training? Because security is quite a wide and a deep area.
If this is addressed, Dr. Olwoj believes that it will change hospital security for the better. For now, Chesang's family is yet to get closure, and with the government's failure, Chepkemoi's only hope is that God will avenge her brother's death.
Kenye mimi nilifikiria, nilimwambia tu Mungu mwenye alimfanyia tu hali hii kitendo, Mungu asilale, amuone na afanye jambo. Hiyo ndio nilimwambia Mungu, kwa sababu Mungu anaona, sisi hatukuona, hakuna mtu alimuona akifanyiwa hivyo, lakini Mungu aliye mbinguni aliona na anajua ni nani, na ninaamini hata mwenye alifanyia hivyo iko siku atajitokeza.
While hospitals like Iten County Referral Hospital, Kenyatta National Hospital, and Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, among others, have improved on their hospital security, a systemic overhaul of the entire private security sector in the country may be long overdue if patient security is to be assured. For starters, a harmonization of the curriculum for security practitioners and an enforcement of policies and regulations would go a long way in ensuring security. Anthony Langat for Willow Health Media.